Summer in Sunset Bird was a special time of year. Your usually sleepy town began to bustle. It was a popular tourist destination, with people coming from all over to enjoy the beach, the weather, and the relaxation that came with both. The smell of the ocean, crisp and salty, hung in the air, bringing 3 whole months of schoolless vacation with it. During the summer, your moms didn't like you to wander too far outside of your neighborhood, so you knew the area pretty well. That included the people. Families came and went from Sunset Bird, but they mostly stayed and did what your mom called putting down roots. They built businesses, got to know each other, and they definitely said hello to the nice young kids who waved when passing their stores. Going for a walk around town mostly meant that the familiar, friendly residents waved or asked how your family was, or most often just said hello. You were too anxious to say hi back to most of the other residents that greeted you, but they all knew you well enough to expect that. They still smiled at you anyway, and that made you feel a little more comfortable. But today, there was a man sitting on the curb outside your house. He was sitting with his head in his hands, his whole body slumped over, and you wondered if he was even a real person or a statue that had magically sprung up from the ground overnight. Whoever or whatever he was, you had never seen him before. One thing about knowing everyone in Sunset Bird was that people you didn't recognize really stood out. It was rare for tourists to venture into the residential district, as your moms called it. So for you, not knowing who a total stranger was set off a lot of red flags. Your moms had a talk with you and your big sister Lizzie about this kind of situation before. They mentioned that some people aren't good to talk to, but other types of people can help you even if you don't know them. You weren't sure about this man yet. Still, you felt a bit scared knowing that he was blocking the way to your front door. You slowed down, your mind racing for ideas on how to get past him unseen, but it was too late to escape. There was a split second where your eyes met and you took in a shaky breath, your eyes darting to the sky, pretending to stare at a bird who was hovering nearby.
Hey!
His voice startled you and made you jump, but still, you didn't look at him. The bird landed on top of a nearby gatepost and its black feathers ruffled against the gentle breeze. Trying to keep your eyes on it was tough, especially when the man stood up and started making his way towards you. Your whole body was frozen in place as he approached.
Do you live around here? What's your name?
You looked the man up and down, taking in his tanned skin and relaxed appearance. At least, his clothes were relaxed. The way he was acting wasn't. He had sharks on his shorts and a stingray tattoo, and you wondered if he was obsessed with the ocean or something. While you made your assessment, he looked at you expectantly, waiting for an answer to his question.
Yeah, I live here.
That's great.
He looked happy to hear it, giving you a broad smile. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a clean $20 bill. It crinkled in his hand as he held it up to you. Even more confused than before, you looked back at him.
Well, could you do me a favor? Nothing bad. Sorry, I should have. Let me start over.
He cleared his throat and stood up straighter. From where you were standing, it just made him look creepier.
I have a son. His name's Cove. He's about your age.
Cove. That seemed like a strange name for an actual living person to you, but definitely the kind of name someone like this guy would give their kid.
We just moved in across the street. See?
He gestured toward the house that had been empty for a year, his watch catching the late afternoon sunlight and reflecting off the walls. The giant for sale sign was finally gone.
You must be Eirlys Evans, right? I met your moms earlier. They told me you were 8, just like him, so.
He shook the $20 bill to bring it back to your attention, a hopeful smile tilting his lips at the corners.
Can you try to be friends with the boy? Just give it a chance and you can keep this. He's a good kid, you'll like him. But you've got to keep it a secret too, okay? It wouldn't be friendly to say his dad sent you.
You kind of felt sorry for Cove. This definitely wasn't the normal way kids made friends. You knew that.
What do you say? Want to make a deal?
You didn't want the money.
No, thank you. Sorry.
He deflated enough to notice, but not completely.
Are you sure? It won't be so bad. Even if it's just for the summer, that'd be enough.
That only made this sound more strange to you. Why does it lasting for the summer matter? When it was clear his initial strategy wasn't going to fly, He tucked the bill into a back pocket and changed the request.
I get it. You don't have to. Would you be more comfortable with you and I coming by for a normal visit? No money involved.
I guess.
His smile got bigger again. His eyes crinkled at the sides.
I'll bring him by tomorrow. I wanted him to meet and greet with the neighbors today, but, I don't know where he's gotten up to.
He laughed when he said that, but with the way his face looked, you thought he actually wanted to cry.
If you see him, can you tell him to come on home? He's got a pink cast and glasses. You can't miss it.
I can try.
You nodded, not totally certain that you'd find Cove, but willing to look. The man smiled and reached out to pat you on the head, paused before doing so, then pulled his hand away instead.
Your mom's already checking around for me. Such a thoughtful group you are. Now I better go look too. Can't bite everyone else to work while I keep sitting here. I thought he might come back and... That's not what's important. I have to go. Thanks again, Eirlys. So much.
He jogged off down the street without another word. You decided to check the hills behind your house. Step 1. First sight. The chirping of crickets in the tall grass greeted you, quiet and familiar. From the top of the hill, you could see the ocean. As you walked, you listened to the crash of the waves on the shore and the seagulls squawking as they settled down for the night. You loved to hear stories about the sea, about the merfolk and sea serpents you imagined living far beneath the waves. Sometimes you could almost convince yourself you had seen the flash of a shiny mermaid's tail in the distance. You took a deep breath. You wanted to try and relax, and couldn't. You weren't sure what, but something was telling you you weren't alone, so you glanced around. There was a boy sitting at the top of one hill, almost completely hidden within the long grass and white flowers surrounding him. His head was buried in his knees, staring ahead by himself. For whatever reason, probably just that he wasn't paying attention, he hadn't noticed you yet. You watched him a minute longer, feeling a little bit like you'd found a deer in the wild, though deer didn't have sad frowns. But this new boy did. You wondered what could have upset him. After a few more seconds, you took a step forward, then another, and then he glanced your way. His aquamarine eyes reflected the light of the moon. You stopped, raising a hand to acknowledge him and show you weren't scary.
Hi.
With a start, he jumped to his feet, his hands balling into fists at his side. He didn't say anything, just stared at you in a strange way. He'd been crying. There were traces of tears on his cheeks and his knees, soaking the hem of his shorts, and his eyes were still shining with a few more. You'd obviously caught him off guard. His pink cast seemed to glow in the twilight, though when he caught you staring at it, he hid his arm behind his back. Something the man had said earlier stuck out to you.
Cove?
Oh,
Eyes wide, he studied you.
how'd you know that?
I met your dad.
Oh, so, is this your hill?
He gestured with his uninjured arm to the patch of grass surrounding you, his face falling at the prospect.
I can leave if it is.
You can't own a hill.
Why not?
How could you?
You just do. I had a hill back home.
Well, this still isn't mine.
Oh,
He sat down with a thump, resting his chin on his knees again. Curious about the strange new boy with the odd dad, you sat on the patch of grass next to him. The pure white flowers that covered this hill rocked back and forth gently as the stars twinkled above. The way they dotted the sky made them seem like flowers, too. The night wind was cool as it traveled over the ocean and up the hill, chasing away the heat from the afternoon sun.
Why are you here?
A quiet hiccup escaped Cove as soon as you asked the question. Almost like they'd never stopped, his tears started up again with a vengeance.
my parents. They don't want to live together with me anymore.
The tears fell fast and heavy over his flushed cheeks, sticking to his dark lashes.
My mom made my dad leave, and he took me with him, and now we have a house here, and I want to go home.
The outburst took you off guard. By the time he was done wailing, Cove's chest was heaving with exhaustion. He sniffed and removed his glasses, wiping at his eyes with the back of his hand before he put them back on again.
I hate this place. I want my real life back. I want my mom.
You'll like it here. You just have to get used to it.
He slipped his hand underneath his glasses and pressed his fingers against his eyelids. Cove wound himself up for another long crying fit. Sunset Bird was a nice place to live. It had a beach, playgrounds, a good school. At least, you thought so. But from way off in the distance, you heard your parents.
Eirlys!
Cove!
Kids? Where did you go?
Cove looked at you, tears still clinging to his cheeks.
Don't tell them we're here. I don't want to go back to that house. I want to go home.
It'll be okay.
You were struck by a sudden need to reassure Cove.
It's not gonna be all fun. But isn't he your family too?
Yeah, I guess.
Then you can count on him when you really, really need him.
You shot him a grin and pushed yourself to your feet. Slowly, Cove stood up with you, still looking a little reluctant. His dad's voice rang out again.
Cove, can you hear me?
He looked toward the sound of his dad's voice, silent, then turned away while rubbing his not bandaged arm.
Sorry. I still don't want to go.
Wanting to go home, you raised your own voice.
Over here!
Cove's face soured. He said nothing, but his thoughts were probably pretty nasty at that moment. The trio of parents appeared over the curve of the hill. Instantly, all their eyes landed on you, and they rushed over. Both of your moms were at your side in a split second, faces filled with worry.
Eirlys! You're here after all.
We had been at the park to check for Cove, and then heard what happened earlier when you met the new neighbor. I thought you might have gone off, further away.
Cove didn't want to go home just yet.
Mommy gave Cove a small smile, and then she turned back to you.
Thank God you're both fine.
Were you two having fun out here?
You looked over at Cove, who was wiggling against his dad's tight hug and pushing at his arms. You shrugged.
He's new here. It was okay.
Finally letting go of his squirming, scowling son, Cove's dad turned to the three of you.
Thanks very much for finding him. I really don't know this neighborhood.
Good thing Eirlys knows this whole area so well.
Absolutely. We should be getting home now. It's been a long day for us all. Say goodbye, Cove.
Bye.
The two of them walked off into the distance, heading toward the neighborhood. You watched Cove's bright pink cast until it disappeared.
Tell you what. We'll have a proper playdate tomorrow, okay? Your new friend's dad wanted to bring him by to see you and Lizzie.
How does that sound?
You nodded, ducking your head down. Both of your moms laughed, the sounds overlapping into a warm, familiar chorus. Mommy put her arm around your shoulder and led you towards the path. Satisfied, and more than a little ready to go to bed after your long, exciting day, you followed them home. Early the next morning, you were poking at your food, eating it slowly. Your sister Lizzie had run out earlier to go play, but you'd stayed put. Today, just like your moms had promised, Cove was coming over to hang out.
Excited to see your new friend again, Eirlys?
I guess.
With that said, are you done with your breakfast?
Your bowl was entirely empty, so you nodded.
Good job. He should be here soon.
Cleanup began, and then, on cue, there was a knock. It was hesitant, like the person wasn't sure they were in the right place. Still loud, though.
We need to get a more obvious doorbell.
I know. Eirlys? Could you get it?
Because Mom said so, you wandered over to the door.
Hey, Evans family. Thanks for having us.
Mr. Holden, as your moms have called him, and his son were here. Cove looked different in the bright lighting of your living room, and when he wasn't crying. With his dad standing in front of him and Mom and Mommy behind you, you and Cove looked at each other. You studied Cove apathetically. This was the parents' plan, not yours. Not seeming any more excited than you were, he just stared back. You twisted the threaded bracelet on your wrist.
Do you want to go play in your room, Eirlys?
Sure. So, my room is this way.
Okay.
Let us know if you need anything, you two.
Have fun, kids.
See you later, son. Play nice.
You led him to your room, puffing out your chest a little bit at the sight of your treasures. There were lots of stuffed animals, a cool bed, a window to look out. It was a great room. You hadn't had anyone to show it to in a while, but you were really proud of it. He leaned in a little closer to one of your drawings on the wall.
I like this.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You smiled at him. You were really proud of that particular piece, and you were glad he noticed it. He turned to look around the room a little more, studying the books on your desk and the pictures on the walls. You started to feel a bit nervous. You wanted to say something, but didn't know what. So you let him keep looking. Then his eyes landed on the tiny box of beach things he'd collected, tucked away by your door. He took a step towards it, before hesitating and pointing at it instead.
What's that?
Hoard of stuff I found on the beach.
Do you have any driftwood in there?
Dragging the box into the middle of the room, you and Cove flopped down next to it.
Yeah!
You gestured to a piece at the bottom, still covered with specks of sand.
Neat. This is a good collection.
You got the sense from the tone of his voice that he wasn't just saying it to be nice, or to be like Shiloh. He actually meant it.
Shiloh's coming over.
Shiloh?
My sister's friend. He wants to, meet you.
Do I have to see him?
It'll be okay. I think. Here. I found the shell in the log and...
You pulled out seashell after seashell, explaining where you'd gotten each one and holding them up against the light. There were big ones, small ones, pink, purple, and orange. Most of them you washed off in the bathroom sink when you brought them home, cleaning off the sand. Your voice faltered a little bit, but you kept going as best as you could. You were really proud of your shell collection, and it made you happy that Cove was interested in it too. Apparently fascinated, either by the stories or by the shells themselves, Cove listened with what looked like the full force of his attention. It was a new experience to be the center of such dedicated focus, even if it was only directed at the shells.
Kids, come down to the living room.
You could tell the idea was making him unhappy, but Mommy wasn't giving you much of a choice to hang around. Cove hadn't been like this meeting you. You guessed it was because he thinks you found each other by accident, not that a parent made it happen. Mr. Holden must be right that telling Cove his dad was part of that would be a bad idea. Before you knew it, you'd been escorted downstairs and deposited in the living room, ready for Shiloh's visit. The two of you sat side by side on the floor of your home's entryway.
I brought the box of shells. I want to keep looking at them.
Okay. But be careful.
I will.
You weren't sure you could trust someone else with your treasures yet, so you stayed next to him while he opened the lid and peered inside. Cove reached in and pulled out a big orange shell.
Oh.
Like he hadn't spoken aloud yet, he turned to you and held it up, his eyes shining.
I think this one is the best of them.
I like a different one best. I can show it to you.
You reached into the box to take out the one you preferred. Cove looked on it with interest. The two of you were still sitting on the floor looking through your collection of beach things when the doorbell finally rang. Cove jumped, startled by the sound. Since the person hadn't knocked, you figured it was probably Shiloh. He knew where to look for that.
Lizzie's friend.
You nodded, but that didn't seem to make Cove feel better. It was already obvious that Cove didn't hide his feelings well. You could tell what he was thinking right away.
This isn't a good idea.
I'm sorry. There's nowhere to go. He's at our only door, and if you go upstairs, he'll find you.
Cove glanced around the room, his eyes wide, and finally paused with his gaze locked on the back of the house.
I can go out the window.
He was already walking towards it. Scrambling to think of something to say, you stepped forward, then paused.
Cheer up. Shiloh's gonna like you. He likes everyone. I mean it.
But I don't want to see him. I don't know him.
Trust me. You'll be okay.
Okay.
Shiloh poked his head in the living room. It was impossible to know for sure if he'd heard what you'd been saying or not, but you guessed that he had.
Hi, Eirlys! And hi, Cove?
Cove shot you an uneasy glance.
Hi.
I'm Shiloh. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. You have a lot of freckles.
Right. I do. What are you guys doing?
We're looking at the shells.
Awesome. Can I do it too?
Cove shrugged, then looked back at your box of findings.
What about that one?
The plan for the afternoon, at least as far as you were concerned, was to sit and look at the beach thing some more. You weren't really in the mood to do much of anything else. You held out a recent find to Cove, a scallop shell that had washed up on the shore.
It's a pretty color. Kind of like my cast.
The beautiful glittering pink did look a little bit like the wrap around his arm.
Pink is a nice color.
Okay.
Is it your favorite?
Not really.
What is?
Maybe green. Or blue. It might be yellow.
Oh, those are all cool.
I guess.
Not sure how to deal with the sudden, more awkward silence, you looked back at your shells. Like usual, it didn't take long for Shiloh to get fidgety. Lizzie was his favorite. Without her around, Shiloh didn't seem to know what to do with himself. And Cove wasn't like your sister. He wasn't that much like you either.
Is Lizzie coming back?
Don't know.
Oh, where'd she go?
I think she's at the beach. Probably.
Is she playing at her park?
Cove's eyes lit up at the mention of the park, and he looked towards you.
There's a park?
Yep. But it's old.
Can you show me? I want to go.
He started getting up before you had even answered, and Shiloh jumped up beside him in excitement.
Really? You do too, right, Eirlys? The park is fun.
The park is pretty great.
Yeah, it's right at the beach, so there's lots of fun stuff to do. And lots of sand.
It has a jungle gym and a bunch of swings.
That sounds like it could be cool.
So, are we going to find Lizzie?
I don't know. I never really wanted to see her. I just want to check the park out.
Adrift without any direction, Shiloh finally turned to you.
Okay.
He perked up. Both boys wanted to go. It was only fair. After getting permission from your moms, the three of you were ready to head out. It was a short walk to the park. Lizzie had convinced Moms that it was so short she should always be allowed to walk there by herself. When you found her, she was hanging on the jungle gym, swinging back and forth.
Hey, Lizzie.
Her face lit up when she saw you, her big brown eyes going wide.
Eirlys! Shiloh!
Hi!
She dropped to the ground and landed with a soft thud in the sand. In a split second, Shiloh had abandoned you two and scrambled over to stand by her. You were used to being left out when it was just the three of you, but now Cove was here. You weren't sure if this was an improvement.
Who's that?
It's Cove. He's new.
I remember. Hi, Cove. Welcome to my park. Nobody ever comes here to play, so this is where we get together.
She gestured widely with her arms as if to present the area to the newcomer. Without interrupting Lizzie's speech, Cove whispered in your ear, quiet enough that the others wouldn't overhear.
I thought kids couldn't own places like parks or hills.
You couldn't help but laugh a tiny bit. While Lizzie continued talking, you took the chance to kick off your shoes and wriggle your toes through the warm sand.
Nice, huh? In this neighborhood, I'm the one who comes up with the ideas.
You are?
Yeah, I am. Who else could handle the job?
Lizzie is the oldest.
By a lot. My mom said you're Eirlys' age.
Yeah.
Thought so. I'm still the only one in this group with double digits.
What about other kids?
Other kids?
There aren't any. We're the only kids here, and Shiloh is just visiting from another place. Not even tourists bring their kids here. This is the land of ancients. Be careful that the oldies don't try to steal your youth.
Oh.
For a second, it looked like he might cry again, but something in his eyes shifted and he looked back at Lizzie.
What kind of old people? Like moms and dads? Or grandparents?
Grandparents who don't have kids. They hate kids.
Why? We haven't done anything.
Only some of them don't like kids.
You interjected quickly, hoping Lizzie wouldn't take things too far. Cove sniffed, his forehead creasing with worry. Lizzie was staring Cove down, but Cove wasn't looking at her anymore. He didn't seem to care that she was there. He went into his own head. Shiloh was the next one to speak, completely unaware of the situation.
I met Lizzie and Eirlys in school. You'll see tons of kids there once summer is over.
I don't want to go to a new school. I don't want summer to end.
Shiloh looked down to the dirt. He hadn't had much luck striking up conversations with Cove.
I like summer vacation a lot too.
All the building tension in the air suddenly vanished when Lizzie laughed. At Shiloh's discomfort, at how weird she thought Cove was, at something else entirely, you didn't really know. But she laughed, face scrunching up.
Welcome to Sunset Bird Cove. Take a seat, put up your feet, and get used to it.
Is right. For the rest of the summer, Cove was always there. You saw him more often than Shiloh, and on some days, when she was in a bad mood or busy, you even saw him more than Lizzie. He became a staple of your everyday life, the way sun and lunch and the beach were. That first summer, you hadn't really been interested in him one way or another. He was just kind of a fact of life, someone you met with because he was there. Of course, that was only the start of things.